Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. So now let's rebuild the Opera L reproducer. In the last video I talked about fitting it and it slides in. And now you know that that little pin right here, where my finger is, fits into that hole. So it bottoms out like that. And that's the way it should be. I've taken a very damp cloth because these finishes are fragile, and I've wiped it off with just a little bit of water and soap. But can you see the streaking in here? Somebody's messed with the finish, and this sticks out to the world, this here and here, and that's why it looks worn. And that's what happens. And then I did the hot rod and I de-chamfered that because that's a flat hole at the bottom here, and the sound waves go like this, but we need to get a little bit more curve to the sound waves. And you can see I did a slight chamfer on the inside here. And I did that on Model C's and H's hot rodding. So what you do is you get it like this, and you get the right gaskets for an L. Give them a little stretch. You pop that in like that. Now you got to realize that the weight goes like this. So when we put the diaphragm in, okay, we have to have it, I'll show you, so that when we put the stylus in. So you look at this and you go, okay, I have to get pretty much it in this way. So we'll turn it around like that. And we'll stab that in. Looks pretty good. Crush this down. And we will give a little stretch to the gaskets. I always do that.
The second gasket.
Second gasket. Now we will take, and I've cleaned the retaining ring. This ring goes on top of this ring like this to crush the gasket material. Now you can see where that indentation, probably from a screwdriver, hit, and now it would be in line here and not covered up by the gasket material. So you'll take this
retaining ring,
and now you will pop that in. Now you will take this ring, the 4 little holes, and it's easier to line the threads up if you back counterclockwise and then screw in. And it'll just catch it. It's not doing that. There we go. Sometimes they fall in place and sometimes they don't want to fall in place. There we go. Do it by hand. You can come in with your screwdriver or a tool. Now, when I tighten up, there we go, got them hooked. When I tighten this up, you'll hear the diaphragm. You hear this? That's the diaphragm getting tight with this ring. You bring it around till it hits and give it a little snug. Do a blow test. Should be great.
no air leaks.
No air leaks. Now you'll take the bottom of your stylus and run it across the little rivets. You hear this coming out of the sound?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now what you will do, now I got to put my eye goggles on. you will hook up the stylus bar. And you can
And
see that.
Okay, what did you hook the stylus bar? Somehow you caught it on that.
We're going to catch that loop. Mm-hmm. This is the fun part, especially when you're 7 years old with one eyeball. There we go. We caught it. Goes that way. See how that lays flat over there?
Yes.
We're going to gently drop that in. We're going to pop this down. We're going to go this piece up. Just kind of turn that in like that. That falls in. And now we're going to
put that one
drop.
piece through the loop.
And now we're going to drop the stylus through the hole right here. Hope it doesn't come apart. There we go. That's hanging. Still hooked up. That's good. We'll flip it over this way. We're going to cock that up, put the pivot in, lock that in place. Now what we're going to do, see the method of my madness here in a minute. We're going to take a needle, sewing needle, and first we're going to see that little hole on the side. We're going to set this in there. There's a little sweet spot in there. Now we're going to take the sewing needle. See how it came? See how the sewing needle came through? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hold that in place. We're going to put this end piece on right here.
Insert the world's tiniest screws.
Insert the 2 little screws. Everything's together on this. This works just like a diamond disc, but the sewing needle is the trick to put that shaft where my screwdriver is in. I'm going to flip around because the stylus won't go anywhere. And I pre-oiled this screw to the swivel unit that goes up, and I ran it in and out with oil. I'm going to put that in. And you'll screw that in like that. And then it'll get tight, and you back it off just a pinch, because the weight moves like that. See, that's perfect. Almost done. We can hear it. Sounds great. Roll this around. Don't want to lose a sewing needle. Now what we're going to do is get down in here.
And what are you doing? Pulling the needle out and putting in the pin?
Pulling the needle out, putting the pin in. Now, what you do is you take a punch. If you did everything right, It should just go like that. And there we go. Totally rebuilt L. And this is, remember I talked about the pancake thing? So let's go over and see if the pancake spatula thingy works on the reproducer. So now we're going to insert this. We're going to put the set screw in gently. That's good. Now what we're going to do is put it in non-play, and my angel will shoot from the side. Right in here. See how the weight moves? We're good. Now that'll float on your cylinder like this, and it's pulling it off away from the cylinder when you play it. And that's what you have to do to an opera to set up the L reproducer. And that's my tip for Dan. I'm going to go have a glass of wine.